Hi everyone, so today I'm so excited to share with you how I just had a 2-week vacation to England and Scotland and how it was almost free because I booked everything with credit card points. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the credit cards that I used, how I earned those points and what I was able to redeem them for and the value of each of those points. Let's start with our flights. So I live in San Diego, so we flew from Los Angeles to London Heathrow on American Airlines. So I was able to secure 60,000 American Airlines points per person using the Barclays A Advantage Aviator Red credit card. So it was really easy to sign up and get those points. You just needed to pay the $99 annual fee and make just one purchase. And then those beautiful sign-up bonus of 60,000 points would arrive in your account. The flight cost 55,000 American Airlines points plus $216.11 in taxes and fees. The cash price for this same flight was $914 with one checked bag. So when you do the math, you get a cents per mile value of 1.26 cents. So this is a little under the desired redemption rate for American Airlines. So that's normally a 1.5 cents per mile for American Airlines. But considering I got 60,000 miles for just $99 annual fee and one purchase, which honestly I think was just a Coke I bought at 7-Eleven, I felt like this was a really, really solid deal. Now, this exact credit card has been discontinued. I guess everyone was like onto this amazing deal. So Barclays has discontinued that and they've actually transferred their American Airlines portfolio over to Citi. So Citi does have a similar deal. It is 50,000 miles after you spend $2,500 within the first 3 months, and the $99 annual fee is waived for the first year. Now let's talk about hotels because that is where points really shine. I was able to book 12 of our 14 nights away completely using my credit card points. I used points from my Hilton Honors American Express Aspire card and also my American Express Gold card. With the Hilton Aspire card, I got 180,000 points after spending just $6,000 within the first 6 months. So around $1,000 per month. The other card I used is the American Express Gold card. And when I signed up for this, I got 100,000 points after spending $6,000 in the first 6 months. So using my Hilton and American Express Gold points, I was able to book 12 of the 14 nights we were away using these points to cover the cost of our hotels completely. We started the trip in Bath and we stayed at the Hampton by Hilton Bath City. I was able to book this hotel for 40,000 Hilton points for the night. So this hotel room is around $240 for the night. But when using the Hilton points of 40,000, that is roughly 0.6 cents per point, which is a great redemption for Hilton hotels. The desired redemption is usually around 0.5 to 0.6. This hotel was centrally located and it had a really amazing buffet breakfast. It was a full English breakfast and they even had tons of veggie options, which I loved. We then ventured over to the Cotswolds. So this is a really beautiful area, lots of like really cute villages and things. And we stayed in a really nice little B&B in Burton on the Water. The 2 nights cost me 81,569 American Express points versus $571 if I was going to pay in cash. And that worked out to be about 0.7 cents per point, which 0.7 is the average redemption rate for Amex. So I was really happy with that. Our next stop was in Northern England and we stayed at the Hampton by Hilton York Piccadilly. So York is a really lovely medieval city and 2 nights at this hotel cost us 100,000 Hilton points, which would have cost us around $480 in cash. That works out to be 0.48 cents per point. That is 0.02 away from the desired Hilton redemption of 0.5. But honestly, given how close that is and the location, we were able to walk to the shambles, we were able to walk to different towers and castles. We were really happy with that redemption. Next, we're making our way up to Scotland and we're going to spend 2 nights in Edinburgh. We stayed at the Apex Grassmarket Hotel for 2 nights. It was 123,604 American Express points. Again, a 0.7 cents per point redemption on American Express. So a really great redemption there. And it was a really centrally located hotel. We could walk to everything, all the coffee shops, up to the Edinburgh Castle. Next, we ventured up to the Isle of Skye. So this is a really beautiful, somewhat remote area. Highly recommend making your way there. So the Isle of Skye was the only place I wasn't able to find somewhere that I could book using my Hilton or American Express points. So honestly, I think this was because this is a somewhat remote area. There isn't like a ton of inventory. And also we kind of like booked this trip at the last minute. So we just paid for these 2 nights accommodation. Highly recommend going to the Isle of Skye. It was one of the absolute highlights from our trip. Then we drove through Port Augusta. We went to all the Loch Ness stuff and then made our way to Inverness, and we spent the night at the Best Western Palace Hotel and Spa. So again, I booked this using American Express points. This was 56,700 points for the night. So again, another really solid redemption with American Express. Then we made our way from Inverness down to London, and we stayed in London for 4 nights. Again, we stayed at a really lovely Hilton hotel. We stayed at the Westminster London Curio Collection by Hilton. So 4 nights was 260,000 points, or 65,000 per night. So when you do the math, that's 0.68 cents per point. So again, just slightly below our desired American Express redemption of 0.7. But given it's so close, and again, with that amazing location, beautiful, really nice luxe hotel, fantastic breakfast, we're able to just walk to Big Ben and walk to Westminster Abbey, walk to the river, all of that sort of thing. I thought this was a really amazing redemption. Plus, they also upgraded us to a nicer room because of our Hilton Diamond status. Okay, let's break down the numbers. So let's start with the flights. So flights for 2 from Los Angeles to London Heathrow were paid using our American Express points. So that was 55,000 points per person. But of course, we did have to pay taxes and fees and pay for our credit card annual fee, which is what got us these points. So if you times that by 2, we get $630. Let's jump over to accommodation. So I find that when I'm traveling, accommodation is one of the biggest expenses, but because we used our American Express and Hilton points, we had 12 nights accommodation paid for, completely free, no taxes, no fees, nothing else we had to pay. We did have to pay for 2 nights in the Isle of Skye, and that hotel cost us $696. And then the way I acquired the American Express and the Hilton points was by having those cards which do have annual fees. So the Hilton card is $550 per year, and the American Express Gold is $325. So when we add these things up, we've got the flights, we've got the 2 nights extra accommodation, and those annual fees, it comes to $2,201. But of course, if you can book all of your hotels using points, you won't have that added cost there for those 2 nights. And I decided to attribute the annual fees for the Hilton and the American Express card to this trip because I predominantly use the sign-up bonuses to book those different accommodations. So I decided to do that. But as you know, with these cards, I'm getting so many other perks and benefits throughout the year. I get Uber credits and so many other different perks and things. So I don't know, maybe I shouldn't attribute it all to this vacation, but I just decided to in this case. If you've got any ideas about how to sort of divide out the annual fees for cards and how to attribute the cost to different vacations, drop your ideas and thoughts down in the comments box below. I'd love to know, like, should I really be attributing the whole annual fee to this trip or just 50% or 25%? I'd love to hear what you thought. Okay, so let's jump over to what this trip would have costed if I was to book it with cash. So we're talking 2 return flights from Los Angeles to London and 14 nights accommodation. 2 return flights would have been $1,828 and 14 nights accommodation would have been $5,041. A total of $6,869. So even attributing the entire annual fees for my Hilton and American Express cards to my vacation it still comes back as a savings of $4,600. So I think that is a really, really amazing deal. I'm really happy with this, and it just made this trip to England and Scotland possible. So I wanted to share a few strategies and a few lessons I learned along the way as I was booking all of this. Start planning early. A lot of like rewards, flights and hotels, they book up really, really quickly, especially during peak times like summer and like around vacations, holidays, that type of thing. So definitely start early. Another thing is to mix up using cash and your rewards points. Figure out if it's worth booking this hotel with your points or worth booking that flight with points, because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. When you do the math, you can see pretty quickly if it's a good deal or not. And if it's not a good deal, you have to decide if you want to spend those points. If maybe you've got millions of points, then sure, maybe just go and book it. But if you're really starting out and you're collecting points, you don't have a lot of points to just go and burn, then maybe it's better to then pay with cash and save those points for a better deal later on down the track. The next tip is to track your redemptions. So these credit cards can have hefty annual fees. So to make sure you're getting the most rewards out of your annual fees, is you want to really be tracking that. So make sure you're always using the right credit card for when you're going and doing your groceries. Make sure you're redeeming those Uber credits, you're redeeming that free night. You're doing all of those things, and make sure that you're actually covering that annual fee and that you're actually even getting more and more benefits from it. So highly recommend that, because a lot of people sign up for these cards and they think, oh, this is great. And then they get overwhelmed by all the different ideas and all the different like benefits and things, that sometimes people just sort of give up and they just continue to pay the annual fee, but they don't make the most of it. So definitely keep a track of your rewards and just, dive into it. There's so many awesome things that you can take advantage of once you're in these like ecosystems. And then my other tip is just to make sure you're using the right cards for the right purchases. For example, my American Express Gold card is predominantly used for groceries and dining out. So I spend quite a lot of money on groceries, going out for dinner, coffee, those sort of things. Now, when I use my American Express card, I get 4x points. So if I spend $100 on groceries, I'm actually going to get 400 points, which is amazing. And I think the American Express Gold card is the only one where you get 4x points on groceries and dining out. So you'll see that those points stack up pretty quickly. And finally, we just have to be patient. It takes time to save up points, but by using the right cards for the right purchases, you'll be able to save those points up so much quicker. I mean, I haven't yet flown business or first class. I just cannot wait. Like I said in my previous video, I had a spine surgery. I've got an upcoming hip surgery. So being able to sit in those more comfortable seats is just, I'm going to be so like excited to do that. So when that time comes, I will share that journey with you. I'm so excited. But anyway, that is how I booked my trip to England and Scotland using points. And as you can see, using those right cards, I can get a lot of benefit from those cards and make a very expensive trip actually a lot more affordable. So if you found this video helpful and you want to hang out with me a little more, make sure you hit that like button, hit the bell, drop me a comment, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.